brick, like a house, like a house. Baal. B-A-A-L. That actually comes out of my mouth a decent amount when I look up at the clouds. Easiest way to spell it is just go to the periodic table of elements and look up barium and aluminum, and you'll see it spells Baal, and one would say is like in the ancient Hebrew Canaanite days, what was Baal known for? And he's known as a lowercase g god of storms, etc. Right? So the Canaanites especially, and there's other examples biblically speaking, but there's also other examples historically speaking about the Canaanite religion. You could probably put the Phoenicians in there as well, as they kind of spoke a similar ancient, I think it's called like a Semitic language, which is Middle Eastern in Northern Africa, right? So when you look at that language, B-A-A-L, and you look at the roots of the language, you'd be shocked to know what B-A-A-L means in that native ancient tongue, right? And it actually means Lord. Now, I believe they'll probably put like a lowercase l in front of that Lord, but that's a very simple reason why I don't use the word Lord anymore. Because Lord, it's not a name, it's a title, right? So when you look at Baal, his title was Lord, right? And so at a bare minimum, he's a false god. He has been probably for, well, we can say thousands of years, bare minimum, he has been a rival to, you could call it capital G God, I call him Yahuwah, but at a bare minimum, a false lowercase g God, and the Lord of storms. So I speak about these barium and aluminum storms, and I call them Baal clouds. But I really didn't know that Baal was the lowercase g god of storms. And I thought that was interesting to find out. And then I didn't know that Baal meant Lord, which is not the only reason I don't use that word anymore, but it's a strong one, as it's a title. There's other lords out there, and there's other gods out there. And that's why I prefer to try to use the most accurate name that one could find through research and understanding as well. And so when you look at Baal being a Canaanite or Phoenician lowercase g god that caused all types of problems for Yahuwah's chosen people, you go look at, say, like the book of Judges. The story kind of repeats over and over, but look at the book of Judges. That basically starts right off with the death of Joshua. So prior to that, you had these very righteous prophets, warriors, Moses, Aaron, Joshua. And so the book of Judges is very interesting because it's kind of that period in between. I think it was like a 200 or 300 year period of time in between the book of Joshua and the book of Judges. But the story is the same across several spots, where basically God will take the people, maybe through the desert for 40 years, maybe all types of things, but he'll take them and he'll put them in the land of milk and honey, and they'll be served by righteous judges, righteous civil servants, righteous rabbis, righteous teachers. And throughout time, when those righteous men pass away, it only takes a couple hundred years before they get right back into false altars. Kind of like in the book of Jeremiah, it speaks of they're going right back to building false altars to God, right? And then one interesting part is the story of Elijah. So Elijah, I was doing a little video yesterday. I was speaking of the two witnesses, and the two witnesses, scholars say, Moses or Elijah. Not my shtick, but if that was true, that'd be very interesting. That you'd have one witness who already started throwing down multiple plagues on earth, And then you have another witness who is tied to no rain. So isn't that interesting that you have like a false Canaanite god here, Baal, and you have Elijah who went to the house of Baal. I believe that's what they called it, or a temple of Baal, and basically went up against, long story, I'm going to keep it short, but goes up against 450 prophets of Baal at a place called Mount Carmel. Now, when